Hey, Pussy Pussynet. I'm on my last. I'm about to listen to my last net, or try to. I don't know how the band's gonna be. I've been very unlucky with voice, with the Amron, but I caught a few times digital, so it works pretty good. I'm on the station now that I think I'll be able to catch, but we'll see. Um, the thing with SDR is that it depends on their antenna, and some of them are not that good, or they're very limited in what they can catch because it's not their purpose, or some of them are like more for shortwave radio or something like that. But I think I'm on one that I should be able to catch something, so hopefully it'll work. But yeah, we're on the last leg. I survived the 24 hour. I'm kind of very glad I did that exercise. This morning I took a shower. So I took a bath with those systems that I had. It was called dry bath. I think I mentioned them before. And in this small package, and actually there's still even a little bit left. I was able to clean all myself, and air are great. There's no residue and stuff and everything, so that went well. And I think I'm gonna try to do a little bit more of those things. Um, I've been trying. Last year I was going to try like a big one, but I think it always like, oh, 2 or 3 days, and then it's you got your work scheduled and stuff. But I started mid afternoon yesterday to mid afternoon today, between 2 day shift. Um, I was a little bit tired last night, so I missed the net of like 6 o'clock or something. But it in a real disaster, I would probably I'd get up, but because I have to work, I don't want to, because I have to work for the next 4 days, so I don't want to screw up all my schedule and stuff. But it's good to do like short runs like this, just even to try new products that you bought or something like this, and just put them on trial like this. So a few things that happened, like I mentioned in another video. Uh, some of my radios fell on me, and I fell on them. I put a little bit too much electricity in one by mistake, and I burned it. So things that could happen. I mean, like in a disaster, things could lose and stuff. On the other hand, also the other thing with my barbecue, so I knew I could, because I use it pretty much all the time, because my stove here is pretty crappy, but I use it on a regular basis to cook my meals and stuff like that. But to boil water was terrible. It took forever, and even the water was like hot water, was not like boiling. And so this morning when I ate my breakfast, which was pretty good actually for the rice, it was still crunchy and surprisingly very filling, like for the amount that I had. So I'm really glad I learned from that it seems like it's a small bag, but the portion that you need is very impressive, because like probably like one portion is this big, and it's this is what I'm finding cooking. Like again, I'm cooking more frequently with those things, is that, for example, if you take pasta, so if you take like spaghetti or something, you make like a big portion, and it seems like you need a big portion to feel full, or even like some cheap rice. But when you get into beans and quality rice and stuff, the portions are much smaller. And I find like now when I do something like, oh, it looks so small, and you have tendency to put extra, and you have extra. So like my 2 meals yesterday, I had some extra left. So I'll be cutting down on the portion. Obviously, I've not been doing extra exercise, staying in and stuff. But I mean, I'm not hungry, or I'm not starving. So it satisfied me, and like I said, I had some extra. So if I would have been hungry now, I could eat some extra stuff. Um, would it last for me like 3 months and stuff, just eating that stuff? It would probably get a little bit on the boring side, but it would provide me my nutrition. I find like versus eating like dry stuff. So on the food side, I was very glad for this. Radio wise, like I said too. On the hygiene side, this I'm very glad I bought. It was actually very interesting because there's like a minty product in there, and I don't know if you ever had like a very strong mint candy or gum, and this like that kind of thing that comes into your mouth. This is how it felt on the skin, and at one point I felt, because obviously you go in the armpit and very sensitive area, that you're like, ooh, it's gonna burn, because sometimes it could do, and you felt like, oh, it's coming, but it felt actually freshness. So it was a pretty cool product to put on, because actually not only I feel clean, but also it felt fresh. So it's almost like coming out of a shower, that cool feeling. So that was a cool feeling. So I'm very glad of that product. Like I said, the barbecue. So I need to find a better system for the water. So yeah, in retrospect, I'm very glad I did this. I will do a little bit more in short bursts instead of the long one, and I think maybe once a year or every 2 year. Then you do, like, let's say on a long weekend, then you do that long trial to see, like, for example, now it's more like a trial to see, does it work. Like, for example, yesterday the lantern, because it's been a while I didn't play with it, just to put it together, it was like, oh, well, it's not working. And then I was troubleshooting because I thought it was the battery or something, but actually was the just the way it had to click in. It had a very particular way to click in, and I was not clicking. And once I figured that out, it was an amazing lantern. Like, it was very cool to see. Like, it was almost like I had electricity around. So just to trial different products like this and see what works and stuff, and so that way you see if it fails or don't fail, and then that way you can, after that, try for the long run. Like, for example, I know now that this is very easy to cook. My thermos system works like I'm trying. So now let's see if I can eat a week of that stuff, and if the system would fail after a week. After a week, let's see if it fell after 2 weeks. So that kind of the test, gradual test, instead of always going for the big one and see what fails. And I think personally, it would be easier to do those quick 24 hours when there's exercise like this than to do like a 3 day, 4 days, or a week or something like that. So anyway, that was the conclusion. Like I said, the net is about to start, so I'm going to listen to my last net, and then I'm going to be, I got electricity back, yay! Let's run to Starbucks. So I'll talk to you soon, bye.